He doesn't feel too bad. He ain't a monster, but we'll start with that. Oh, shit. All right, a little guy, but we'll start with him. Size isn't always the biggest thing when it comes to fishing, but numbers can mean a lot more. But today we're doing something that's really fun, and you really have a good chance at a big northern this time of year. We got turnover coming pretty quick. Water temps are getting down there. We're about 63 right now, and you usually have about a 2-week window right before turnover that those big northerns that have been in deep water all summer, they come back up into the shallows, into weeds and rocks and just shallow areas like that, shallow structures, and they start feeding again heavily right before turnover. So this is a great time of year to get out here and do this. So we're gonna get out there, get another one, and we'll show you guys what we're using. We're headed to our next spot, and I'm trolling over there just to cover more water, get some lures in fish's faces, and try to see if I can see anything new out here. But while we're trolling here, I figured I'll tell you a little bit about what turnover is up here in Minnesota and Otter Tail County, especially since that's where we're at. Turnover is basically, in the summertime, when the water warms up, you have 2 layers of water. You have a thermocline in between it. So you have cold water on the bottom side in the deep water. You have a thermocline that's usually about 10 feet deep, and then you have your upper water column. And your upper water column could be 75, 76, 77, whatever it tops out at in the summertime. Your thermocline, just in that 10 feet, it's usually about a 15 to 20 degree difference. And then underneath that you have 50 degree water, 40 degree water sometimes. It's pretty dang cold under there. And in the fall, usually it's not always water temp related, but most of the time when your water temps get about 58 degrees, your lake will start to churn over. And the cold water from underneath will mix in with the top water. It'll get rid of that thermocline. So what happens is the water gets really turbid, really stained, dirty looking, and the fish have a hard time feeding. And that can usually depend on the size of the lake. Turnover could be 2 days or it could be 3 weeks. It's just really on the size of the lake and how much water and what the depth of the water is and that. But most of the time a week and your lake will be done turning over and the fish will start going back to normal. But there's that period for about a week or two before turnover where fishing's really good, and fish are just on the move. They're not really in packs anymore. They're kind of spread out all over the place trying to feed and stock up for the turnover coming. So that's just keep that in your brain when you're out and you see some water temps starting to drop like that and getting close to 58 degrees, that your lake's going to start to turn over soon, and it's time to find a different lake. You can find another smaller lake. You know, they don't all do it at the same time, so a big lake will turn over later than a small lake will, and just use that when you go out there and keep paying attention to your depth finder. It tells you a lot about what's going on in your lake. So. Perfect. I'm gonna have to touch them. So that fish there, I always tell you guys about patterns and listening to the fish and doing what they're telling you to do as far as lures and that. Well, it goes for your location too. I just had one back here a little bit that tried to eat it right next to the boat. So what I did is I moved the boat out a little further. Sure enough, next cast I got one to hit right there. So you got to be aware of where you're doing, what the fish are telling you. You know, they'll let you know where they're at. If you're catching fish right next to the boat or you're seeing them come right next to the boat, just move the boat out a little bit. Get away from them a little bit and you'll start catching those fish halfway back like you should be. There we go. Oh, a little guy, but you take him. I changed it up a little bit. I got that first one on a spinner bait. So, and we're basically just fishing them just like bass right now. We're just tossing, we're right up in the shallows, and I'm working this thing pretty fast. Feeding on the minnows that'll come in shallow to get the warm water. Perch are in here, sunfish are in here. So you're just combing these big weed flats right here, right up next to shore in this nice hot water, and that's where these fish are liking to sit. Got off. Right by the boat. They're small, but these things are fun. You know, we ain't getting nothing too big. The point is that we're getting numbers, and sooner or later you get these numbers like this. I mean, this guy's really little. But you keep in those areas where the fish are at like that, and you just keep knocking them off, catching those fish, and you're gonna run into some big ones. And we're a little bit early for this pre-turnover thing. I'm thinking maybe the end of the week, maybe beginning of next week, we should be in it. But these fish are already moving up in here, and this is how you learn these times, and this is how you learn what these fish are doing, where they're moving to, and what they're liking to eat this time of year. Is just get out here and try it. And we have tons of lakes around here, around the Perham, Minnesota area that are full of fish like this, and this pattern works everywhere. Every lake will do the same thing. It's just about water temps. So next time you're out in the lake, watch your water temps, pick up some lures, move some fast over some nice warm water. Another one. Got off right away. Move fast, get over some warm water, find these fish, and write it down in a journal so you can remember for next time. So you guys have a good week. We'll see you next time.